As the calendar flips to August, harvest weather starts to be top of mind for many of you. So we're going to cover some weather with Bret Walts of BAM WX. We're also going to talk crop marketing. We've had a bit of a decline here, a big drop for the end of July. So we're going to cover that and so much more. I've got friends joining me from Ag in Motion here, from Brett Young and John Deere. Just a great time down in Langham, Saskatchewan last week. And for all of you that stopped by and said hello, thank you. I do appreciate those conversations. Episode 136 coming at you right now. Hey folks, welcome to the What the Futures podcast, your quick guide to better farming decisions. Alrighty folks, welcome into episode 136 of the What the Futures podcast. My name is Ryan. I am the host of this wonderful program. Thanks for joining me here in the UPL studio once again this week. We had a blank on the board last week. I was a little tuckered out after Ag in Motion, and Friday was a travel day as well. So it sometimes, not often in the schedule, but sometimes you get a week where just quite can't get it put together. But anyways, I had a great time down at Ag in Motion, hanging out with the folks over at UPL. Of course, these wonderful hats. This is a design here from Quinn Fletcher. We ordered, more than 50% more hats, more than that compared to the previous year. And these guys, with the exception of the 4 that I have behind me, that I'm hoping Quinn will sign and autograph for me, that's it. That is it. Wednesday, early afternoon, we sold out. And we tried our best we put boxes aside for Wednesday so that we wouldn't sell out all on Tuesday. But we honestly thought that we'd have plenty for the week. And you guys blew us away. We had some great support. We had Kristen with the Canadian Centre for Agricultural Wellbeing. She joined us in the booth for the week. We also had some help from Sask Ag Matters. They joined us as well in the booth. So for Saskatchewan growers, a resource for you there as well. So Sask Ag Matters. So appreciate their efforts that week or the week of Ag in Motion in the UPL booth. It was rocking. It was busy. It was a great time. We raised over $7,500 for the CCAW, so $15 for every hat. Went from UPL and What the Futures over to the CCAW, so that was phenomenal and really cool. Like I wish our artists could be there to see this, but really cool when you have these hats circulating for the week, and all of a sudden you start to look out at the roadway or into the crowd, and you see all of these hats, the people sporting them and wearing them at the show. It's 2 years in a row where other companies come around and say, what's going on? Where did these hats come from? We're seeing them everywhere. It's just great. Great cause. Great job by Quinn with the artwork and just a great effort by the team over at UPL. And my team as well, getting these hats distributed. We also, we didn't run out of shirts. We have kid-size shirts left. Last year, we ran out of kid-size shirts. So what do? We ordered more kid-size shirts. This year, adult shirts sold out or were gone by Wednesday afternoon. Like you guys, the What the Futures listener, like you guys, you came out. You came out and supported. And I certainly do appreciate that. I appreciate the conversations. I apologize if I didn't get a chance to chat with you. And also, I don't expect a queue to line up and wait for me to talk to me. It is neat to see a couple of people waiting to chat. But if I didn't get a chance to say hello, I do apologize for that as well. It's on Wednesday, I was talking and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm also going to eat this great sandwich from the damn smokehouse. I think I had a nipple in. I had a couple of those guys last week, and it's like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to eat this while we chat because I haven't had anything to eat yet because it's so busy and it's honestly so much fun. Great weather, great attitudes, lots of positive conversation. So just phenomenal. So big thanks to UPL for hosting this hat event for us once more here for having us there all week. And I also had a great day with Brett Young on Wednesday. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. So over at UPL, guys, you can go and check out the Grower Rewards program. Start getting set for the next year. Of course, the plots are great. We saw products like Teleron in action. We got more information on herbicide layering. So some great stuff over at UPL. But Grower Rewards program, you can certainly go and check that out. If you want to stay up to date on what's going on here with the show, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Or subscribe wherever wherever you get your podcasts. If you want more, you can join the email list at ryandenis.ca. And we've got some fun memes and the latest and greatest here as well on those emails. Also this week launched a private podcast channel called What the Future's Insiders. You can subscribe to that. It's absolutely free. Ryan at whatthefuturespodcast.ca. It's free for now, for where we're at here at the end of July. And it's basically a stopgap. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. So if you want more details, you can let me know and I can get you on this episode here, episode 136. We got Bret Walts with BAM Weather. We're going to cover harvest weather. How does the summer finish off for us? How does harvest get started? You're going to want to stick around for that because there is some very interesting weather, good and bad. Unfortunately, there is a bit of bad in here as well. And so you're going to want to check that out. I've also got Kyle Slobodian of Cudworth, Saskatchewan. He's our Bret Young rep. We're going to chat canola plots, what's going on, the latest and greatest on canola seed out of Bret Young. And then I also have Carlton Self with John Deere. He is the big horsepower, the big tractor guy over at John Deere. So he joins us from Ag in Motion as well this week. This is always a fun episode because I get to bring in some of the Ag in Motion conversations as well. And then finally, at the end of this episode, I do have a great big thank you that I need to do as well. So stick around for that. Positive moments, guys. We brought 400 plus t-shirts to Ag in Motion and they were gone by Wednesday afternoon. The t-shirts were sold out. The hats were sold out. You guys were absolutely crushing it out there. The conversations were great. Like my positive moment, without a doubt, is Ag in Motion and just getting a chance to connect and say hi and learn from everybody was great. So, I joke with people like when I'm at the show, they're like, oh, what have you seen? What have you checked out? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Because when I get to the booth, usually got some recording stuff to do, but I'm there. I am there, and you can't say, well, like, where's Ryan? I guess you could, and I wouldn't be there, but the goal is to stay in one spot so that people can find you and talk to you and engage. So I don't see any of the show, but nonetheless, great weather, great crowd, and a lot of fun. Also, big thanks to my team, Yvonne and her two kids, Cash and Bo. Hung out for the week and worked really hard to pull that off and get everything out. If you were a Lunchbox crew member, you got a different category of a stack of swag for Lunchbox crew folks. If you're What the Futures, you're getting a t-shirt. And then we had a bunch of people that learned about the What the Futures podcast as well. Came to say hi. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, big thanks to Yvonne, Bo, and Cash. And then a big thanks to my family as well. My troopers, my kids and wife, they were there for setup, helping me set up on the Monday, but just a big week away from home. So yeah, it was great all around and great to be at another Ag in Motion. All right, so we got lots to talk about. We're going to talk some crop marketing stuff here in just a second as well. I'm recording a touch early this week because you go to Ag in Motion, which is a work thing for me. It's a fun work thing, but it's a work thing. And then you get back and you want to relax. So as of recording, the truck is packed. I'll be hooking up to the camper here momentarily. And we're heading out to do some August long weekend camping. So a little bit of a break here. So as of recording, the market suffered some pretty drastic declines here. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. We did one final Cuppa Coffee on Tuesday. Brian Como with Canadian Ag Markets joined the show, and you can check out Brian's stuff on his own YouTube channel. I put it out there like, I guess would have been earlier in the week or on the weekend that this was going to be the last one. And I did, I got some messages of disappointment, and that's understandable. People really enjoy the short formats, really enjoyed the quick questions and the guests, kind of rapid fire guests. Overall, a lot of positive feedback on the shorter episodes, which is great, which is great. I'm not saying that live shows are gone. They are on pause right now. We have entered here at What the Futures. We've entered 12 weeks of a bit of a recalibrating of the What the Futures a podcast or the What the Futures approach. Things are evolving and changing over here at What the Futures. And, hopefully at the end of the day, it's all for the better. Of course, that is the plan, and that's what I'm working on here. I've been working on this. Honestly, I've been working on this for the last 6 months, but this is the home stretch where the rubber meets the road. So we've hit the pause button on Cuppa Coffee. I want to thank all the guests. I want to thank all the folks, that submitted questions, that tuned in. It's been a lot of fun. It will continue. Again, there will be something in the future here that we'll be able to have live shows here once again. Now, there is a little bit of a stopgap. I already mentioned it when it comes to this private podcast channel. This is basically a landing spot for farmers that want more than just the Friday episode, because that's what we go back to. We go back to the Friday episode. If you want some short content, crop marketing stuff, again, unedited, raw, quick to consume, we're talking 10 minutes or less on most of these, you can go and sign up for this private podcast channel, Ryan at whatthefuturespodcast.ca. That's how we're going to do this for a week or two. We'll automate this shortly, but for now, I enter you into the list, right? And so certainly you can do that. It's funny because even though Cuppa Coffee's done, like I did another live event today. Like it's not like, I still am putting all this content together. In fact, I'm doing a little bit more, but to get those ones, that's in the Lunchbox crew. That's where you get the live stuff for harvest time here. So you can always join the Lunchbox crew. We do have a few spots open, and you can check that out at ryandenis.ca. All right, folks, let's park that for now. All right, folks. So from a crop marketing perspective, I've got a couple of notables here for you, maybe a handful of notables. And then we're going to talk weather with Bret Walts from BAM Weather. I guess what I want to start off with here is in the last wheat futures rally, spring wheat futures, even Kansas wheat, we talked a lot about locking in futures and waiting for basis to come around, waiting for basis levels to appreciate. And we're starting to see some of that appreciation for, quote unquote, off combine delivery, fall delivery, a time of year where maybe you wouldn't expect to see a premium or, a better price, better basis develop. But here we are. It is coming around. I have an example here today. This is out of a Bungie location, but essentially a grower had a futures first contract, ended up putting in a basis target about $7 a ton better than posted. And posted has improved quite a bit here over the last number of weeks as well. But posted coming in, call it around $57 and the target hitting in that $65 range, in that range. So not huge, but notable that, it is September delivery off combine, and they are paying or hitting targets at better than posted bid. So for those of you with futures first contracts, this is a time here that you want to get a little bit focused on tying up the second part of that equation. If you locked in futures, we'll say that we did this a while ago. Let's throw a 725 in the mix here and a $65 basis. Pardon me, should have done this before. It's $1.75. That's $9 wheat, right? So not bad. Yeah. So just something to be aware of when it comes to the wheat basis here across the Canadian prairies. All right. Moving on here, we've got old crop. This may be my only old crop thing on the list here, but some old crop canola premiums out there now pushing into early September, depending on where you farm in the prairies or where your crush plant is located. So we did see companies looking for July coverage, and then it was August coverage. Now they're looking for old crop September coverage in certain areas. Again, the crop's a bit delayed. Crush plants, great margin. Things are going phenomenal. They want to buy all the seed they can. Now they're incentivizing prairie growers for that early September timeframe. You're off November futures anyway. It didn't really matter, but you are going to see the best delivery opportunity here, because who wants to deliver old crop canola while you're starting to harvest new crop stuff, right? It is a very challenging time of year, and you are trying to thread the needle here on grabbing the best old crop premium that you can. So again, if your farm can meet those demands, there could be a play for you here for early September. So keep an eye on that. Again, it's a fine balance at this time. New crop, couple notables here. Feed barley specials trickling in again for September. These are not at the high of the year, but they're not that far behind. Maybe are they 20 cents, 25 cents behind the high? Maybe a little tighter than that even. But if you're sitting there, maybe you're in a spot in the prairies where you've got a barley crop, you're looking for something to move here this fall for bin space or cash flow. It's just one of those crops that, again, I haven't been bullish feed barley by any means, but it's been extremely resilient here. And then here you go again, the week of July 30th, and you have another fall delivery, off combine delivery, feed barley special at some locations. Again, just off the highs, that may be a fit for you. All right. And then the last one here, just this very slow grind higher for oat prices. Came up on Cuppa Coffee earlier this week. I did see some oats trade at like $4.25, $4.30 in central Saskatchewan a week or so ago for new crop. But then here, I look at Alberta, central Alberta, and, we're north of $4 here as well. Even, September oats are at $4. That's a posted bid. You're probably doing better than that on a target. And so that is starting to climb here a little bit. And, oat growers have certainly required a lot of patience here over the last year. From fall on. Yeah. We'll see. It is going in the right direction. So I just wanted to make note of that here, just because I know the oat growers have been a little bit frustrated. Yeah, other than that, guys, I think we'll leave it at that for now. We're going to come back and talk futures markets and some strategy. But first, let's go and let's bring in Bret Walts with BAM Weather to talk about, what could we expect here for harvest? What can we expect for the rest of summer? Warm, dry conditions. What does that look like for your crop potential out there? So let's turn it over here. Bret Walts with BAM Weather. All right, folks, we have Bret Walts with BAM Weather joining us here. It's been a minute since you've been on the show. Bret, how's it going? How's the month of July been for you?
It's been good. It has been volatile here in the Ohio Valley. Some dry periods, wet periods, more severe weather. Busy from a weather standpoint all across the board, I would say.
Well, we've had some wonky weather. We've had some pretty intense storms. Even earlier this week, Monday afternoon, just this wicked storm just rolled through. It's like systems are kind of ganging up over us just before us. And Saturday there was a big one. Monday there was a big one. But I think we got 1.5 inches of rain in, I don't know if it was an hour or something. It was enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. I know I messaged you to give me and the Farmers Good Weather for Egg in Motion. It's our big outdoor farm show here in Western Canada. And the last day was a little toasty, but the weather was pretty much darn near perfect. So thanks for getting that done for us.
I'll take credit for the good weather when I can.
So Bret, we're starting to see, in the crop marketing headlines, we're starting to see, well, number one, we saw corn decline here in the good to excellent category this week. We're starting to see a bit more chatter about, is trendline yield possible? Is there a real weather concern building here for, for strong yield for U.S. corn. What's your weather for the next week or so? Like, do you think that it's hot and dry and there's a problem brewing, or do you think that there's enough activity out there to kind of, keep that crop stable?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the answer is almost yes and no. There are some rains coming, but the further west you go in the Corn Belt, especially in the U.S., they're very messy and there's still heat to be had. Okay. And so I think it's going to be a situation where the further east you go, the better off you are. And you have a pretty good crop shaping up. But there are some problems in the Western Belt. And I do think, especially in the Northwest Plains in the U.S., there is concern about the combination of heat and dryness. And I don't think it's going to be a perfect crop. I think if you're further east, things are looking pretty good. It's not super hot ahead. There's another heat wave in there, but it's not super hot ahead. You've got plenty of moisture, but there are some problems brewing further to the west.
Okay. Would you include like North Dakota, South Dakota in that same statement? Like, is there a little bit of problems that far north?
Yeah, I would actually say some of my biggest concern areas are North and South Dakota. Nebraska over the past 7 to 10 days has at least had some rain, and Iowa's in a good spot for some rain coming up. But the Dakotas have just been skipped. They've just been skipped out, and there's really some abnormally hot temperatures that have been frequenting in the Dakotas. And so those two states in particular are probably the ones that I have the most concern about long term. And you have to remember, too, heading into the summer, those areas and maybe parts of Nebraska as well really did not have a lot of moisture coming into the season. Right. And so they didn't have much to work with to begin with, and now they've gotten hot and dry at a really bad time.
What about going a little bit further north here to my backyard, the Canadian Prairies? We've had, a really almost a complete 180 to last year. Like this year, we had quite a wet spring and quite wet, historical rain events here for the month of June for some farms across the prairies. It's turned warmer, drier now. Is that expected to continue here as we get into the month of August?
I do think it continues. I think from a temperature perspective, you average out warmer than normal. There may be some more ups and downs than July has had, but from a rainfall perspective, that ring of fire pattern with the heat dome in the U.S. probably sets up south of you. And so as a result, southern Canadian prairies, especially through North Dakota, are in a spot that miss out on even those messier rainfall chances. So definitely a drier lean and probably a continued warmer than normal lean as well.
Okay. Have you had a peek at the fall, at what I would call, harvest weather? We hit a period now of warmer, drier. Does that flip at the wrong time for us? Are we going to should we get the propane ordered and the dryers serviced and ready to go?
I think the further northwest you go, especially in the Canadian prairies, there's some concern for that the season gets progressively wetter in terms of harvest. I would say the U.S., if we can get going on harvest relatively quickly, I think that the setup is decent for harvest because the September forecast, as things stand, looks to be warmer and drier overall. Okay. I do think that the later into the season that we go, for those that are still harvesting deeper into October, that is when the pattern starts to get a bit cooler, starts to get a bit wetter. And I'm talking relative to normal. Obviously, in October, it's going to get cooler progressively as it is. But yeah, I see some signals in some of these El Niño years that, especially the back half of October, there can be some stronger cold fronts and a little bit more of an active pattern as our El Niño subtropical jet starts to become a little bit more prevalent.
Maybe one last one for you.
Sure.
The El Niño that we're experiencing right now, like there was a lot of talk about super El Niño earlier. Are we there? Is this the super El Niño? Is it coming yet, or how are things shaping up?
Yeah, we are well on our way. In fact, we're tracking above both 1997 and 2015, looking to be, as things stand, With the current forecast, the strongest El Nino on record. The sea surface temperatures continue to warm very steadily and aggressively over the past month, and that looks to continue. And so I really suspect that by the time that we are said and done with this El Nino event, it will be remembered as the strongest on record and potentially unprecedented.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for joining us here this week on the What the Futures podcast. Do you guys have any events coming up, any webinars, anything on the calendar here in the next few weeks?
We will have our fall webinar. The registration is not opened on that yet, but that will be the last Wednesday of August. So I would be on the lookout for that coming up soon.
Okay.
And then before you know it, it'll be the winter one too.
One last one for you. I tend to live in the BAM weather app throughout the summer, right? Throughout the growing season. And I am in the habit right now of checking hail tracks every day because that is the weather we have in front of us. And we just missed one here at our place yesterday, or I guess this would have been on Monday. But I tell you, to be able to kind of pinpoint where that event has happened certainly points us in the right direction on what to go check first and to go take a look at. So I've had a lot of farmers ask me about that feature here the last couple of weeks, and I don't want to live in that spot on the app. I want to look at the radar instead and just look at what's coming for rain. But unfortunately, 2026 hail insurance claims are going to be quite large compared to normal the way it looks. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It, I think 2023, which is our last strong El Nino, had some of those issues as well. I know it did in the Western Plains in the U.S., and there are some similarities to that year. And I think that August, that probably continues to be an issue as well. When you do get rain, unfortunately, especially that far north with some of the heat, probably will also come with hail risks.
You bet. All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I certainly do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, there you have it. A very, very interesting forecast for, not just for the prairies, but for the U.S. as well. So warmer, drier tendencies. And then I guess to the north, our friends in the Peace region here listening to the show this week, maybe looking for some precipitation here in August, and we'll see. I know on our farm, like we certainly wouldn't mind one more rain event to finish off this crop. I think many of us out there are hoping for the same thing. I'm recording here tonight. There's a thunderstorm happening outside of my window. We had a big thunderstorm. Well, yesterday afternoon, we had a big thunderstorm roll through, 1.5 inches in, 5 minutes, it felt like. And then we had a big storm on Saturday. So some areas are getting the precipitation, but if you have traveled my neck of the woods here in Alberta, they're starting to write off crops in this region because it's just been too wet. It's been too wet, and it keeps coming and coming. We also, the Lunchbox crew, we meet with Bret monthly for a forecast update. We go into a little bit more depth. So that's just one of the perks from being in the Lunchbox crew. We go a little deeper, a little bit longer, and we even talked about some winter weather as well. All right. I wanted to just address the futures moves here. A lot of questions kind of coming in around, are we getting, are we at the high of the markets? Are we experiencing the highs of 2026? Came up on Cuppa Coffee. Start looking at some of the charts, like canola as of recording here's down about $50 a ton from the high from just a couple days ago. The spring wheat market, I don't know what fancy terminology exists, but you can see like we flirt with 750 to 760. This is basically our third attempt at it, going back to late April, and we failed again. And so someone asked me a while ago, a couple of months ago, might have even been maybe earlier in this year, like where would you get heavy on spring wheat sales? And I said, the time, well, if it got to 750, we would certainly do some damage on the pricing side. Of course, hit that level, had an aggressive pullback and hit that level again here. So, it's interesting. It's certainly interesting, but can we find some momentum to go and break above that level. Maybe a bit more, maybe Kansas wheat is a little friendlier, certainly trading that premium to Minneapolis and, finding, well, it looks like tonight at least a bit of support here at that 750 level. It was as high as 790 just a few days ago. Obviously, folks, it's hard to call tops in these markets, but you can see here with war events going on, did we see futures drop earlier this week because the war stuff settled down for a day or two? Like that could be the case. We do enter periods of weeks of stability where prices will relax. And then as soon as it gets fired up again, the war stuff, that is, away we go off to the races. So you can have some worst case scenarios penciled out because like at the end of the day, we need to generate cash to pay bills. We need to navigate logistics, bin space, workflow. We may even need to navigate quality. There's lots of different things here that come into your crop marketing. And so you might be sitting there saying, well, geez, like everything looks good and bullish, and I think markets are going higher, but I need $100,000 by the end of September to pay this bill. Or I don't have the bin space for this 20,000 bushels, or my stuff's a little tough. I need to get it moved. Like there's many different scenarios that evolve here that we need to acknowledge and pay attention to and maybe execute from a crop marketing perspective. I want to say here that, are we seeing highs of the markets? We often see highs in the summertime when there's the most unknowns. But I do believe that the El Niño, the super El Niño event is very interesting, could lead to some very interesting weather on the Southern Hemisphere later on this fall into winter. This war stuff going on, the global situation we find ourselves in, that is very, very interesting as well. And if you want to actually do an exercise that I find, I kind of find it maybe a little bit, I don't know if unveiling is, that's not the right word, but maybe perspective. You kind of go and look at where we have traded in 2025 from a futures perspective, where we're trading now in 2026. How does that look on like a longer term chart? And you kind of, in, my opinion, you find, there is room here potentially for more, upside. Like there is room for, if it wants to find some reasons to go here, it looks possible, right? If that makes any sense. It looks like we're kind of low on the chart. Maybe canola and bean oil are a bit of an outlier there, but like go take a monthly nearby chart, go out 10 years, maybe 15 years, kind of see where you're at, but also look at the pattern that starts to evolve here from 2025 into 2026. You may look at that and see, hey, there's some higher highs being established here. There's some higher lows being established. We're in a bit of an uptrend. Again, when does that end? What does that look like? I don't know. We certainly had a similar type pattern breakout last spring in May, June, July of 2025, and then fell apart. What do we do here this year? I will say that, in my opinion, the setup we have still highlights that we're going to have some type of harvest low established in canola and in some of our wheat crops. Hopefully they're short-lived. I'm still planning for that, some type of harvest low to develop. But, even tie in the weather here, hot and dry to finish off the growing season potentially. Does that tighten up the crop just a little bit more? I don't know, guys. I'm not scary bearish, and I hope I don't jinx us all by saying that out loud. I do expect a harvest low. There is going to be opportunity on both sides of that, in my opinion. We'll see. I'm being very patient on specialty crops. Again, if you want to meet a cash flow requirement, if you want to meet a delivery requirement, if you want to stop the guessing, you can sell, secure. Worst case scenario, replace your upside with a call option, just a portion of your risk back into some type of call option strategy and participate in that futures event. You probably want to go a little bit further out though. though, you probably, unless if you got a brokerage account, you're fine. You can stick nearby. But if you don't, you may want to go a little bit further out into March or May of next year just to catch, if there's a South America weather scare of some sort. So yeah, so lots of good things going on here markets wise. Pullbacks are healthy. We tend to forget that, but pullbacks are healthy as well. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes over the next weeks here. All right, I want to bring in my pal here from Bret Young. Let's bring in Kyle Slobodian. We're going to talk about the latest Bret Young canola seed. Then we're going to come back. We're going to do eating your veggies. And then we're going to talk big tractors as well. Lots coming at you here. Episode 136. Let's get into it here with Kyle Slobodian from Bret Young. All right, folks, I'm hanging out with Bret Young at Ag in Motion here, July 2026. Last year, the plots looked amazing. That's why I walked over last year to check them out. They're looking very, very strong here again. This year, we've got 7204 behind us, 7204 there, 7206 off to the side. And Kyle joining us here just to chat all things canola. So Kyle, how's Ag in Motion going for you?
It's good. It's been a busy year, good traffic, lots of good conversations. Everyone's positive about the crop this year. Couple select areas suffering some bad storms, excessive rain, but for the most part, everyone's been happy to date with their canola. We finally had a year in this region where we had some spring rains, some good moisture, and got everything going. Very short seeding window, so it was, when we still had snow cover in May.
May 19th, we got rolling, and we didn't stop. The guys didn't stop. So.
Yeah, so the guys really hammered down and got the crop in this year for sure. So, but several stages of crop out there in the countryside.
You bet. So, anything... So we're going to talk canola, and for the listener, Kyle's My Farm's rep as well. So you're in Cudworth region, right?
Correct,
yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, so there may be a time where Kyle beat me up on the hockey rink too back in our youth. We'll have to figure that out after. Anyways, so what stands out for you in the canola lineup here right now? Like we have 7206 on our farm, Liberty Link. We're crossing our fingers to the finish line here, but what's kind of standing out from the lineup?
Yeah, like obviously we have all four here. 7206 came out last year. We trialed it across the region. Really big highlight on it. It was anyone that was suffering, bad blackleg. 7206 really shines. So, it's got the full club root package, full blackleg package. Stands a little taller as well as a plant. And, it shined in certain regions of the territory and probably was our number one growth product this past year.
It was, hey? You saw a little bit more demand for that one. Nice. All right.
Like 7204 here would still be our number one seller. This one, This is what got us in the straight cut Liberty Link game. We were waiting for the right products to come to market into that market. It's a little bit more consistent across the board. But 7206 just had 1 year under its belt so far.
So speaking of that, how long has Bret Young been in the Liberty Link side of this? Is this a newer thing to Bret Young? Has it been going on for a while?
Yeah, we've really only been, sorry to cut you off there, really only been actively selling, straight cut Liberty Link for about the last 4 or 5 years. And, it was quite, we were doing lots of trials, but we definitely know when we came out with a product, we needed to be on par, with the Invigors out there in the marketplace. So we had some Liberty Links early on that were swath only. They didn't have the pod defender trait in them, but the whole lineup going forward has the pod defender trait, so we're confident recommending to our growers to straight cut our products.
You bet. Okay, sounds great. Now we've got that behind us. We do have over to the side, we've got some True Flex options. Is that what I'm seeing? Some Bret Young 6223. Anything that you want to cover there today?
Yeah, we obviously, we're one of the first companies to have a pod defender True Flex product in the marketplace. Okay. So we've been selling a straight cut True Flex for about 8 years now. As well. So we had, 6211's kind of been the lead horse in Saskatchewan. That one was one of the first ones to come out. But it didn't have a club root package, so it wasn't a fit for all areas. So now with 6222 and 6223, both of those products are, pod defender, good for straight cutting, full club root package. So we're good to sell those in all the areas now.
Awesome. All right. Well, and just to wrap it up here for today, you farm as well. Kyle, how are things looking at the farm? What are you excited about here as we continue on in the summer of 2026?
Yeah, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch here, but the crops look good. I honestly think it's probably one of the best cereal years or crops we've ever grown. Nice, dark, lush, big, wide leaves. The whole farm got fungicide on everything this year.
Yeah.
Probably should have got the plane to do more, made a little bit too many ruts.
Yeah.
Got stuck a few times. Thanks, Dad. And, but yeah, we had a bad year last year with an August 20th hailstorm that took out the farm. So I just need to get past that window before I count it.
Redemption coming, hopefully. Redemption coming. There you go. All right. That's great. And so
I have 7206 and 7203 this year on my farm.
Okay, there we go. 7202, 03, 04, 06. There we go.
Yeah. The difference of the 204s here is one has Mateo Start seed treatment, which would probably be one of the number one demanded seed treatments. And Syngenta is launching a brand new Carranza seed treatment that's going to be available in all Bret Young canola going forward. Okay. So we're trialing that in all of our BCTs, our Bret Young comparison trials across Western Canada.
Awesome. Well, we're excited about our canola crop as well, Kyle. Keep up the good work, and thanks for joining the What the Futures podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us at AIM.
All right. Well, it turns out that Kyle is 4 years younger than me, has a sister my age. Sounded familiar. But anyways, Cudworth, basically where Kyle went to school and where I went to school, we were arch rivals in all things sport. And those buggers in Cupworth, they could put together some pretty good teams at times. They had their generations of good moments, but there were some competitive games between us. Anyways, great to talk Bret Young canola seed, and just a big thanks to Eric, Michelle, the whole team there. I had a lot of fun on Wednesday with Bret Young. We gave away a pile of T-shirts. They were set up. They had the damn smokehouse from Nipwin in their booth, which is unbelievable. So good. I needed that so bad, and I had it multiple times. But you got to see great plots. Got to see the latest with their corn silage. We're going to talk about that in future episodes. Got to see their alfalfa. Got to cover off their canola. They had shade, food, cold drinks. It was awesome. It was a great time. So big thanks to those folks for getting me out, and we had a lot of fun on that Wednesday. All right, and we're going to see them at the Crop Marketing Made Cool conference as well, which is my segue here for eating your veggies for this week. Number one, the Crop Marketing Made Cool conference. We are starting to ramp up. People are coming. They're buying tickets. They're booking hotel rooms. They're getting organized, guys. It's great to see. But there's still some savings left. Use the code UNHINGED. That saves you $100 a ticket. Again, December 1st, December 2nd, Brandon, Manitoba. We should have an agenda release here shortly, like a very public one. I have it, but we're just making some final tweaks. But we have a great roster of speakers. All right, folks, we've got Carlton Self joining us here from John Deere. And Carlton, I'm assuming you pay John Deere for this role, because this is the one everybody wants, right? We're going to talk about tractors today.
Yeah, so this is definitely a fun role. As you said, I'm Carlton Self. So official title is the go-to-market manager for large tractors and tillage. And what that really does, think of me kind of as a marketing and product manager for the big tractors, 8, 9 series, and our tillage products.
So for the listener out there, I'm assuming you just jump in a tractor, drive around the tractor all day, park it, move on to the next one. Is that part of the role at all, or not?
There are days like that for sure, absolutely. But a lot of time spent with our product lines, just kind of talking about tractor positioning, new tractors and new products in the market. A lot of time with our dealers too. A lot of time in the field. So
awesome. So we're down at Ag in Motion here. Beautiful lineup of equipment. What did you bring to the show today? What's new and exciting here in 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a new 8R540 tractor here on the lot. got part of the new high horsepower 8 series tractors from John Deere, and 3 models in that lineup: 440 to 540 horsepower. We've got an 8R, which would be a wheel configuration, and then an 8RX, which would be a track configuration.
Yeah.
And when we think about that tractor, you kind of look at it. It's really a ground up design that combines the weight and power of a 4-wheel drive tractor with the versatility, the maneuverability of a fixed frame machine.
Okay. So like John Deere does a great job of going back to farmers and learning and gaining, knowledge about what to do next, what to build next, what to upgrade. Is there something from farmer feedback that really stood out for the 8RX or the 8 series here?
Yeah, absolutely. So our customers continue to tell us that they're interested in productivity and efficiency, and really kind of 2 key pieces of feedback along those lines. Customers are wanting to pull a wider implement, or they're wanting a faster field speed. And
Okay.
with these tractors, we've got higher weight. So the ability to ballast these machines up to 54,000 pounds. We've got the bigger engine, the John Deere JD14 engine, so larger displacement, more torque, and a new electronically variable transmission, or EVT, that gives you up to 60 kilometers per hour transport speed on a wheeled model. Really fast acceleration. So really productivity and efficiency.
Yeah.
And that comes from that acceleration, that higher torque, higher horsepower, larger frame size. And then that kind of ties back to that message about faster field speeds, faster transport speeds, and wider implements.
So what's the one sitting out here in front of us at the show?
Yeah, so this one's an 8R 540, John Deere Signature Series model, 540 horsepower, up to 40 horsepower with the IPM, or Intelligent Power Management. Tractor has large super single tires on it, really a nice machine, great setup for a forage wagon, for a manure tanker.
Yeah.
Also got the power and the weight to pull a drill. And again, as we talk about that versatility of that fixed frame tractor, it's going to give you a lot more maneuverability. A lot easier to get around than a 4-wheel drive tractor.
All right, fair enough. From a demand side, like when you look at what farmers are looking for, this single-wheeled tractor, like this type of, I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but this model, is this something that is like a growing category, a growing segment out there where that demand is sitting there, farmers putting their hands up saying this is what we're looking for?
Well, we certainly see a lot of interest from farmers, and John Deere, as you mentioned earlier, we try to listen to our customers, and as they tell us, hey, our implements are getting larger, they're getting wider, they're getting heavier. This tractor kind of fits in that market nicely because it, as I said, it's got a lot of versatility.
Yep.
It can do a lot of things. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife for a lot of farmers.
All right, awesome. Now, just past the tent here, a little bit further down, we've got a little bit of a bigger machine there that you guys introduced at the show last year.
That's right.
Maybe it was last year, that introduction, or maybe it was the year prior, but
A couple of years ago.
It was sitting here last year anyway. So what's been going on with, I guess, which model is it sitting out here today, and how's the feedback been? What have you guys learned with that tractor here the last couple of years?
Yeah, so 9RX high horsepower tractor out here. We've got it on a new drill, new air cart. A lot of positive feedback. Again, going back to that message of faster field speeds, wider implements. We continue to see drills get wider. We continue to see bigger carts, more capacity in terms of seed, fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
And with the weight, horsepower of that tractor, we continue to get a lot of positive feedback from farmers. Really does a nice job handling those machines. Whether it's a big tillage implement, whether it's a big drill, bigger cart. So a lot of good feedback. Comfort, great feedback on the cab, really good visibility.
Yep.
Really nice machine.
Well, my son loves riding around. He's 3.5 years old, and he loves riding around in tractors, as many kids do. And so far, that one really stands out for me. He loves those track machines, but he calls them a grumpy tractor. And I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out. I said, dude, like, why do you call it a grumpy tractor? It has something to do with the tracks. But I don't know. It's just the funniest thing. We'll be going down the road and be like, oh, there's another grumpy tractor, Dad. I'm like, all right. I don't know why yet, but 3.5-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of kids myself. They're big tractor fans as well. So different terminology. We definitely get that. Yeah. Understand that.
All right, Carlton, anything else that you want to add to today's segment? Anything we're missing here?
Yeah, a couple of things on the 8R. So stepping back to the 8R high horsepower tractors, whether it's the 8R, 8RX, a couple of new cab features really designed for operator productivity and comfort. We've got the new Command X Plus, Command X Pro, new command arm in there. And it gives operators kind of programmability, the configurability they want to kind of set up controls how they'd like to have them. Okay. We've also got some familiarity in there, so still some fingertip controls for hitches, for SCVs, that kind of thing. But tractors are here on the lot. We'd love to see folks come get in the cab, experience the tractors. And as I said, kind of a ground-up design that really is centered around productivity, versatility, higher horsepower, higher weight, and a fixed-frame tractor.
You know, we've recorded a few things here this morning, but I keep hearing about and seeing, you know, the updates for like less fatigue and getting more done and just making it easier. Like in everything that John Deere is doing right now, it's all about kind of if the user, the driver of this stuff, is just making it life easier for them.
Absolutely. And a lot of reasons behind that. So you think about kind of that narrow frame for field work. So if we think about the time when we're in the field, whether it's seeding, whether it's tillage application, that narrow window for field work leads to a lot of long days. So a lot of long days in the cab. And I think anything that we can do, we continue to get that feedback from customers and see it built into our products. Anything we can do to make them more comfortable, to make them more productive throughout that long window, that time spent in the cab seems to be really appreciated.
Awesome. All right. Well, people do love driving their tractors and making it easier for them each and every day here. All right, Carlton, thank you so much for joining the What the Futures podcast. Have a great week at Ag in Motion, and look forward to catching up again real soon.
Yeah, thanks so much. Do the same.
All right. So again, we wish Carlton and his wonderful wife just a very smooth, healthy pregnancy here, and just a great start for that little one's journey. Because we were talking about old dads and how we have to get in shape and stay in shape because you got to keep up with these little critters, right? So there you go. And you know what? Shout out to all the old dads out there. I know I'm not the only one. Any thoughts, comments, you can send them my way, Ryan at whatthefuturespodcast.ca. And of course, if you found the episode useful, share it with a friend or neighbor. For the What the Futures podcast, my name is Ryan, and I'm out of here.